Yeah, see, if you sit right here like this, y'all gonna be on television.
Now the red button, the red thing is on, so I'm pretty sure that's recorded.
Fantastic. So Alicia's been visiting with y'all for a few times, talking about some financial things, right?
Yeah.
How's it been? Good, learn a little bit? Okay, sounds good. And the reason that we're here, we're gonna be here a total of 6 times. I'm gonna be visiting with y'all today, and then some of my individual shows gonna be coming talking about later. But today we're gonna talk a little bit about credit. Alright? So I'm gonna spend an hour with you. I want to make sure this is valuable time for you. What about credit do you want to make sure I cover so at the end of this hour you say, I'm glad we talked about this. What are some important things that you want to cover?
Okay. And it's better your credit.
Better credit?
Score,
Okay.
to kind of, I guess, the credit people.
Keep talking, we're going to get there, we're going to get there.
You know, kind of clean up your credit.
Clean up credit? Okay.
It's maybe stuff that shouldn't be on your credit report.
Oh,
On the
cool.
credit report.
Sure, yeah, we'll look at all that. Great, great. I saw you here.
Same thing.
Same thing, credit people, credit stuff, clean up. What does that all look like? Okay, excellent.
Well, okay.
What about credit cards?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me
Okay,
more.
how can we get like credit?
Okay.
Credit card?
How do you get credit cards and what does that look like? Yes, ma'am.
Purchasing a vehicle may affect my credit.
Okay, sounds good. We're gonna touch on that. What else?
Just managing your credit score and
Managing.
just instead of having it go low or see what the range is.
Cool. Yeah, so we're gonna touch on a little bit of that. If at the end of this, I do not answer the question that you have specifically, let me know, right? If you all spend the next hour sitting here and don't get anything out of this presentation, partially my fault, partially y'all's fault for not saying anything. True? Yeah. Okay, good. I was about to say, y'all are part of the program. Y'all here to do something. If you sit here, walk out of there and say, that hour was a complete waste of my time, yeah, I'm going to put that all in y'all, right? And make this worth your while. You know what we're talking about. So we are going to look at all those things. So this is a real brief agenda on what we are going to cover. And then hopefully as we're talking about some examples on what it looks like when we're discussing credit, we will be looking at those things that we talked about, right? The why is it important, what credit is and what it is not. You know, all those things are important. It looks like it's there. Credit report, credit score, using credit wisely. I'm hoping there's going to be some questions. I'm hoping we get in discussion. My wife does not like listening to me talk for an hour straight, neither will y'all. Okay? So when I'm asking questions, please respond back. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. 3 of y'all understood the question, y'all. The rest of y'all a little confused. Right? So we're talking through. So we're going to get through. So what is credit? Don't read my slides. We're talking. Right? What is credit?
Buy and pay later.
Buy now, pay later. Okay?
Money
That's a
that
function of it.
Money that it's not yours, the bank's, but you can borrow it and you can only pay back.
Okay? So is that credit or is that a loan?
Credit?
Better
Well, I guess a loan kind of.
Okay?
Because you could use the money when you need it, but then it gets
You can don't worry about
Okay.
it. We're going on fix it.
So that will be a little bit of a
We
loan.
don't finish
And
that.
what that is there.
Well, the better the credit, the lower an interest rate can be.
Okay, there you go. You're talking about a functional credit. Exactly, that's functional credit. But when I say what is credit? Oh, you said a big word there. Not bank, but trust.
Yeah.
We're talking about a formalized financial credit as we're going through it. Right? But really credit's trust. Y'all have a friend, and it may be you, but if it is you, pretend it's your friend anyways, that's always looking to borrow $5. You know exactly who they are. There's nothing wrong with them. They're the friend, they're good. Hey, give me $5, I'll get it back later. And you know real quick that when someone asks, and right, you give them $5 and they do give you back later, if they ask for $5 again, what are you going to do?
Give them $5.
Sure, I got $5, you got me back, we're good to go. It's fantastic. At the same time, that one friend that we all know that we have, that's always, hey, let me get $5 and I'll get you back, and they never do. It's okay that you give $5, but be aware you're not lending them money, you're giving them money. It's family or friends, right? So in credit, it is, am I going to do what I say I'm going to do, and am I going to be able to do that? Right? It's important on the financial system, and we're going to look at some reasons why, but that's what credit is, right? We talked a little bit when I asked the question, the functionality of it, right? We discussed what a loan was. That was great. We talked a little bit about, does a bank trust you or not? The credit is, do I do what I say I'm going to? And that can be with money or anything. Right? One thing that I've learned is we are really good, and not me, not you, but we. Okay, so please don't take this personal. We are really good at saying, yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to commit to that. You know what we're really bad at? Actually doing it and being accountable for that. Right? Think about it. How often do you, again, not a personal attack, I'm in the same boat as you all. We say we're going to do things, and then we don't get to it. It's like, oh, I didn't get to it because of, right? There's always the reason why. Right? When we have a loan out of bank and we're talking about credit and what that looks like there, and we do not do something, what happens? Get penalized, right? There's fees, right? What else? If you get out a car loan and you don't pay your car note, what happens? There you go, right? We know the answer to these questions. So what I hope to accomplish today, right, we looked at the formal agenda, but what I really want to do is have that discussion on how does credit really work? Everyone knows it's important, everyone knows it's there. I found very few people actually know what it is and how it works. So we're going to look at that. We're also going to look at what makes your credit good, and also really how it does impact us. Does that sound fair?
Okay.
Cool. So again, is credit good or bad?
Good.
Good?
In a way, depends on who has it too.
Depends on who has it too, what it looks like, right? You know, I hate the fact that this is a richer thing, right? I'm a fan of Houston, so there's a richer family thing. You know, it goes very poor, fair, good, excellent, right? What I found is that some people say, well, my credit is tied to my character. It's not. I know some really great people that have low credit scores. They're good folk, right? I meet very few people that have ever said, I'm going to borrow a whole lot of money and I know I cannot pay back. And I'm just going to go tell the bank to go screw themselves. We were young, we didn't know what we were getting into, we have a job loss, someone gets sick, divorced, right? It happens. So we do have this though, and they do rate it from very poor, fair, good credit, excellent, we'll look at it. But you know, my slide up there says why credit is important. So I'm going to ask you all, and please don't read my slide, but think about it. Why is credit important?
Get your house.
Get your house.
Car.
Get your car. Can you get a house or a car without credit?
Yeah.
There you go, right?
Yeah, pay good down payment.
Yeah, pay down, right? I mean, if you walk into a car dealership with $20,000 in cash, number one, don't do that. But if you do have the cash to write them a check, you don't need credit. So what does credit get you when it comes to a car
We don't have
or a house? When you don't have it, what can credit then get for
It
you?
can build it.
Open more doors, right? That's where that loan comes into play, right? So it helps you get a loan, but it can help you get a house, it can help you get a car. Where else is credit important? School loans, in which way?
good and bad, because when they know you're in school, they'll raise your credit because some people look at it, oh, well, that's a good investment on their end because they know that if you may finish college and you'll have the money to pay back. So some companies use that as a tool to kind of have you tied to paying them, and it works on some.
There you go, right. So as you're going through your looking at, you're right. So when we look at credit and what it is, that's one way to do it, right? But they'll run it. Anytime you try to get a loan, they're going to run your credit. Right? And if they're going to report on, did you pay that money back as you say you were supposed to or not? And that's all that. At the same time, how many of y'all have tried to set up a utility, a cell phone, or a TV or an internet package lately? What do they run?
Credit.
Throw things at you. They run credit. Right? And if you do not have credit, a number that meets a standard, what ends up happening?
They're going to charge you more or less than I used to.
Right? They may charge you more of a price, but what they're really going to do is they're going to ask you to pay a deposit.
Yeah.
Right? You see that on there? You go get an apartment, they run a credit. Right? Say the apartment regular lease, you should go, they ask for 1 month. Maybe first and last. Right? But if you do have a lower credit score, doesn't mean we're good people or bad people. We've had learning opportunities in our past. What does the apartment complex ask for? First and last deposit. Right? And it's one of those, it really does impact a lot. A lot of people say, oh, I've got bad credit. So that's just how it is. I want to challenge that preconceived notion because we can all do something about it. We've got to learn and know what we want to do with it and where does it go. So as it says, you know, we looked at a lot of things. What about insurance? Health insurance, automobile insurance? It's kind of weird. Automobile insurance, do they run your credit report?
Yes.
Yep. Yep, they do. If your score's higher, you pay less. Is that fair?
No.
I'll argue either side. And I can do them. Right, but think about it, but that's the game we're playing. Right? So we understand what it is, we can do something about it. And then the other part that I want to talk about is why credit's important. What it looks like is, what about getting a job? Do places run their credit?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Ask the question loudly.
Why is that?
I know.
You tell me.
Is it?
Think.
You want to know if you're trustworthy.
To make
That
sure
and creditors can call your job and, you know.
They can't own, they're allowed to only if you put their name, where do you work, you put it on an application, they can call that main number to get a hold of you. What they're not supposed to do
Okay.
is call your job and say, hey, let me tell you about one of your employees.
No, not that. but-
Right, then that, you'd be amazed what they do. Right? But you ask why do they do it for jobs? And there's a few reasons why. Right? Some laws are in place right now that they cannot do for every job. So, yeah,
Is that a hard pull or a soft pull?
depends. If they do it for employment, almost all the time it's going to be a softball.
Okay.
Because you're not actually applying for anything, but you're giving them authorization to review it. Right? But anything dealing with money, we're going to get there. You asked a really good question. Ask those questions out loud. But as you go through and you look, if I'm working for a financial institution and I'm handling money and things, if all of a sudden they realize I'm going to go work for a bank, and they pull something up and say, ooh, you've got 35 accounts that you owe money to, and we know collectors calling you, and you're working at a bank handing $15,000 cash in a day, right? You even say don't hire that person right now, right? Because the propensity of them doing something that they normally would not do because of the pressures of the situation. So, the other reason why some people do it is if I have a job offer that's open, right? And I have 150 candidates. Do I have time to interview 150 people? No. Do I have time to call 150 people to screen them to see who I want to interview? Not in the slightest. So if I run them all through an electronic screening process where you answer yes or no questions, anyone who's applied for a job recently is done. And then I go through and I say, hey, pull credit, what it looks like, and all of a sudden I take 150 down to 15, I have a manageable list. Am I screening people out of the employment process that would be good candidates? Sure.
So that,
Don't apologize. Talk. This is a conversation.
so that's how it goes when any company hires people, it just.
Not any. I want to be real careful to say not any. But every company has a way to narrow down and concentrate a hiring process, and they have a high propensity of success of weeding out candidates that will ultimately be not a good fit or what it looks like. Credit report and score is one of them, so not everyone uses it. Those online tests that they go, right? There are things that are required for jobs and things that are preferred, right? If being bilingual is preferred and you are not, so you check no, well, you're still in the running. But if I'm looking for one person, and out of 100 candidates, 15 are bilingual and that's preferred, guess what? Who am I called? Yeah! It's not good or bad or right or wrong, but it's the truth of it all in the system. So credit does play a part in what that looks like. Right? So what it looks like. So let's talk about it, okay? So here's a specific example. So there's a 35-year-old woman in Texas. She's got a fair credit score. Fair is between these two numbers here. We're going to talk a little bit more numbers in the slide or two. She's going to spend, on average, $295,901 in interest on her home, car, and credit cards during her lifetime. And this is a calculation from credit.com. You have money, you pay interest, and she's going to spend that on that with her credit score. Now, hypothetically, right, the same woman has an excellent score, is only going to spend $230,000. Right? That's a difference of over $65,000 in interest payments that you have. How many of y'all want $65,000 back in your pocket? Cool. Checks in the mail. When you receive them, let me know. You're welcome. But as it goes forward, right, it's the exact same amount of money. I'm sorry, it's the exact same things. The same house, the same car. that interest rate on some of those things is extremely low. Okay? It's very expensive to have learning opportunities on your credit. Doesn't mean you're good or wrong. Right? People with great credit can be absolutely the jerks. Right? But at the same time, it's one of those people. So credit is, we looked at it here, and this is more of a technical definition. It's a 7 to 10 year look on how you've interacted and if you've done what you say you're going to do. Right? If you haven't, there's reasons why life happens to all of us. Right? If all of a sudden your car breaks down and you do 2 new tires, are you going to get those 2 new tires? Because without them, you're not going to school, you're not going to work. That's a spiral. But if you get those 2 new tires and spend the money there, we're working part-time because when we school full-time, we might not have money to do things, right? And so I'm not saying it's bad or I want to do it, but it's what it's going to do. It's going to look over the last 17 years, and it's going to be a snapshot of everything that you might be doing. They use this information to say, how likely are you to pay somebody back in the future? Student loans, you mentioned student loans, right? Sure, I'm going to invest in you now, we can do some loans, because guess what? I know you're going to be getting, right? There's still a lot of evidence that suggests that a college degree, associate's degree, bachelor's degree, all of those things have significant increase in lifetime earnings and income than not, right? So they're going to give you a little bit of money, you go to school,